Hi! In this video, we're going to have a look at CheckCentral's Cove data protection integration. This integration will automatically create checks for backup jobs in your Cove data protection environment, and then regularly poll Cove for recent backup activities. We'll step through the configuration steps necessary to get started. First, we'll head to the Direct Integrations page located under the Services menu. We'll click the Add Direct Integration button. We'll click Cove Data Protection from the list of available integrations. This will present us with the new Direct Integration wizard. The first thing we need to do is name our direct integration. In this example, we'll just stick with the default name. Next, we'll need to switch over to our Cove data protection environment in order to create a new user which we'll use to access their API. In the sidebar, we'll click on Users under the Management section. Underneath, we'll click on API Users. Next, we'll click the Add API User button. Click the Customer drop-down and make sure your top-level organization is selected. While the drop-down is open, click on the copy icon to the right-hand side of the customer name. Keep this value handy, we'll need it shortly. Provide a login name and change the role to Operator. Make a note of the login name, we'll need it shortly. Click Save and Continue. On the next page, click on the Copy Token to Clipboard button. Save this value as well. Click on Copy and Close. We can now switch back to CheckCentral and continue with our setup there. In the Customer field, enter in the customer value you copied earlier. In the Token field, enter in the token value you copied earlier. In the Login Name field, enter in the login name you set earlier. We can stick with the default values for the polling fields for now. We'll click Next to continue. We're presented with the Group Assignment page. This is where we'll set which groups our checks will be assigned to. If we have a look at the default check group section, we'll see that by default, CheckCentral will assign new checks to groups based on the partner value of the backup job. These are referred to as customers in the Cove Data Protection console. Further down, we can see that if there isn't an existing group that matches the partner value, CheckCentral will go ahead and create a new group using that partner value and assign the check to that group. These can all be customized to accommodate your use case, but we'll stick with the default settings for this example. Underneath the default check group section, there's a section called Customize Group Assignment. This allows us to manually map partners in Cove Data Protection to CheckCentral groups. You can also click on the Auto Match Groups button to have CheckCentral attempt to automatically map these partners to groups. Once we've set up our group assignments, we'll click on the Save and Create Check Definition button to continue with our setup. The check definition setup allows us to choose exactly what jobs we're having CheckCentral monitor, how those checks are identified, and how we should be notified when there are issues. We'll start by setting up our matching rules. By default, CheckCentral will create checks for all jobs it discovers. You can create rules to only include specific jobs if needed, but in this example, we'll create checks for all jobs. We'll click Next to continue. We're presented with the Check Identification page. This allows us to configure how we want our checks named and what labels to apply. We'll start with the check name template. By default, the checks will be named based on dynamic values pulled from the Cove Data Protection integration. In this case, the resource being backed up, followed by the data source of the backup. This can be edited if needed, but we'll stick with the default setting here for this example. Next, we can set what label will be applied to the check. By default, the label is created based on dynamic values from the integration as well, starting with the integration name followed by the resource type. This can be changed if needed, but we'll stick with the default for this as well. The check group section allows us to override the group mappings we set up during the previous steps, but in this example, we don't need to make any changes. We'll click Next to continue. The notifications page lets us configure how we want to be notified when there are issues. We can choose to be emailed, receive a text message, receive push notifications via the CheckCentral mobile app, as well as several other options. If you've configured other notification services or ticketing systems, those can be selected as well. Additional options to further refine when alerts are sent are also available, but for our example, we'll stick with the defaults. We'll click Next to continue. The final page shows us a summary of what checks will be created, and we can see what the name of our checks will look like, as well as what label they'll be assigned. Since everything looks good, we'll go ahead and click on the Save button. We'll be taken to the Integration Overview page. From here, we can see a list of backup jobs that have been discovered by our integration and view the resulting checks. By default, this integration will update data every 6 hours, but we can manually request an update by clicking on the Update button located at the top of the page. If a backup job is removed from Cove, CheckCentral will show you the corresponding unconnected check. From here, we can simply click on the Delete icon to remove the check from CheckCentral. If we refresh the page here, we can see that 8 activities have been created, meaning CheckCentral has received some backup status information from Cove. If we open up one of our checks here, we can see the new activity under the Recent Activities table. We can click on the latest activity we received to view the backup status information CheckCentral received from Cove. We've now completed configuring our Cove data protection integration in CheckCentral. CheckCentral will automatically create checks for any new backup jobs it discovers from our Cove environment and update those regularly. As always, CheckCentral will keep an eye on things and let us know if there are any issues.